Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I would like to welcome all the panelists. Thank you for taking out your time and being here with us. Before we start the discussion, we can have a quick round of introductions about what you do, what your organization does, because we also have a lot of students here, so they can learn a bit more about you and your organizations. We'll start from Mr. Praveen.
Hello, I'm Praveen Purohit. I am the Deputy Group CHRO for Vedanta Group, which is into natural resources company. And we are producer of zinc, aluminium, copper, silver, all those commodity which generally you hear about, all those not so sexy kind of products. That's the something which we built for the country. And very glad that, we as an organization, 100,000 people, we work towards building nation agenda. We contribute about 1.5% to the GDP of the country, so on and so forth. But I think giving back to society is something which is very close and core to our heart, and that's what all the 100,000 people who are spread across 50, 70 locations, I think they enjoy the most. And we will talk more about it. The topic is very, very exciting. So looking forward to interact, learn from the panel and share some of the experience with all of you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sharma?
Hi, my name is Lokesh Sharma, and I represent here as a CHRO for National Commodities Management Services Limited. We are among the largest service provider into the commodity management or post-harvest services management domain. We provide services, the warehousing, the silos, the testing and certifications across pan-India. We have a wing for agricultural consulting as well. So how NCML is basically helping the bone of the country, which we say the farmers, the industry, which is into the commodity managements, and that's about NCML. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, sir. Hi, good morning. Thanks, Savi, for having us here. I am Seema Rekha. I represent Antarmanh Consulting. We are a very unique kind of wellness solution organization. We provide end-to-end wellness solutions to larger organizations, primarily starting with designing wellness strategy, which includes even infrastructure and processes, and of course, wellness intervention. But we don't stop there. From the data we derive from wellness, we use that data for designing HR policy, specifically in learning and development and organizational change management. Thank you so much, Ms. Seema. Now, coming back to the topic for this discussion is the future of executive education and learning. This is an era of constant disruption where we're seeing huge waves of digitization, globalization, the market dynamics, they're shifting every day. So there is a huge need for executives, for leaders to reskill themselves, to expand their knowledge base, and to also adapt to the emerging trends in the industry, right? Now, talking about trends, we'll keep the first question open to all the panelists. We'll start from you, Ms. Seema. What are some of the emerging trends, according to you, in executive education and learning? I'll go back 15 years back, and I remember Ajim Premji said long back that, we don't have employable potential population in the country, and it was a very disheartening statement and hurting statement to educational institutions. But what he meant that most of the students are skilled, they have depth of knowledge, DOK is very high, but once it is coming to holistically working at workplace, that was pretty missing. And that employability quotient, sometimes once now we are looking at organization, this new generation is highly evolved. As some of the previous panelists said, we are working in an ecosystem where 3 different generations are working, so needs are different. But for sure, whenever we look at the pyramid of any organization, we have a set of people which fall into high potential. And most of the organizations, even schools, support them and help the bottom quartile. But there is in between, there is a hard choice, a large amount of employees which have the skill, but they are not able to navigate through the right direction. And again, you further down, make another pyramid within this hard choices, you can again see that how you can upskill them and you can take them ahead. So this all jumbling of perception about the workplace, which is changing the narratives for so many new coming, generations. And this has been a consistent narrative that, corporate culture is not good and you are going to stuck in that. But trust me, organizations, we just heard, they are putting lot of effort. So this thought is, I think that is the key to break and entering in a workforce to contribute with a purpose and aligned with that purpose.
Very rightly said, Ms. Seema. Mr. Sharma, your thoughts?
So when we say the trends for executive leadership educations for development, the key trend comes in with the coming age AI and with the latest technological advancement. The world is becoming more and more global family. Now the learning which comes in is not restricted to one geography or one specific institute or one place. The future for executive learning is expanding day by day. Now with the coming age AI is when the assessments are there. Another trend which you can see in executive learning is that earlier there used to be a 2 years long MBA, 3 years long MBA. Now that is shrinking to a year, right? Executive MBAs. Apart from executive MBAs, you will find that there are a number of courses which are very short durations. Those are targeting to specific audience. So the key trend which is coming out now is the customized learning experience for the folks who are looking for that specific one. That is coupled with the new age assessments, which helps in understanding the executive or the employee base, that which is the skill set or which is the competency wherein they need to grow. So that is specific bit size learning which is coming up now. Apart from the regular courses now, it's an year-long learning, or it's a continuous learning experience which is being created and delivered and being exposed to employees. So key trends, if I need to say, is more focus on customized learnings, bit-sized learnings, and the third one I'll say that it is assessment after learning and then relearning. That is something which is the future from my.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Mr. Purohit?
No, I think I completely agree with what Lokesh and my panel member had said. See, we need to understand what executive education is all about. And I see many of our young folks are sitting here. See, believe me, any organization, you take any organization, whether it's a startup or mid-size or a kind of large organization, education is something which is, the backbone. In case if you are looking at the growth of the organization, the growth can come only if you focus on something which sounds so conservative. I think executive education is something we all are hearing for last so many decades. आज भी वो topic चल रहा है. But the point is, the companies which have focused on these topics very, very seriously, time and again, they have grown like anything. Even today, you take Vedanta as an organization, we are about $30 billion plus company. But believe me, our focus on executive education is in depth. We believe, अगर हमारे लोगों को आगे बढ़ना है, तो उनको अपनी skills को upgrade करते रहना पड़ेगा. And for doing that, you will have to continuously learn something which is new trend. Can you believe, आज से 10-20 साल पहले टेक्नोलॉजी और डिजिटल की बात कहाँ पे होती थी? But today, my management, my leaders, they come and say, I am giving you a budget of 100 crore for your L&D. Can you believe? That's the kind of amount we are talking about. That's the budget they are ready to give. Because they know, agar mere log, if they are not trained, if my people are not trained, my business ultimately will get affected, impacted. Customization is important. One size fit all is an outdated kind of thing. We all know everything. But kya kare? Kahin na kahin to we will have to strike a balance. Because I want my finance people, my HR, my commercial, my marketing, I want everybody to sit together so that they can, exchange the thoughts and share experience. But the problem is, when the executive session runs, if suppose the program is on finance, for example, finance wala is much equipped with basic fundamental knowledge of finance. So he might not take that much of interest, but that is much, much important for my commercial and HR person. Similarly, when there is a session on, let's say, leadership development, people development, this is something which is equally important for all. Digital and technology, you can't do away with that. Today, in case if you want to grow, that's the kind of what Lokesh was talking about. You need to equip your entire workforce to understand and appreciate what is going on in digital and technology. I'm not saying that we need to be master of this area. No. But do you have appreciation? Because I have about $20+ billion of investment coming up across all my 10 large businesses. And for that, I need people who understand and appreciate the basics. And for that, executive education is must, very, very important. And of course, the trend, the way you said, the trends are emerging. We need to break our head. And can you believe, as we speak, I'm working along with some of the most top class premier institutes of the country, including a couple of Ivy League colleges. And you won't believe, मेरा सबसे ज़्यादा time किसमें जा रहा है? My time is going in designing the program. Execute करना बहुत easy है, कर लेंगे, 4 faculty आएंगे कर लेंगे, but I need to work along and bring all the stakeholders together in terms of designing the program. So that's the trend which is emerging. Are you able to design your program better so that the investment what you are making for 3 crore, 4 crore, executive education is not cheap, or I'm telling you it's most expensive when you work with the top class institute. I can go on and on talking about it because I'm very pragmatic. End of the day, if I'm investing crores of rupees, I need outcome for the business. I want my executives to grow. I want my executive to, move from this level to that level. Can these people take up the leadership role at the earliest? वो लेने को ready है. Whether my organization is ready to put them there. Do you have that platform? There are a lot of dots you need to connect so that you become kind of, emerging, you understand, you have value for money and lot many things. We will cover more, interesting things as we progress. Over to you.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. Ms. Seema, you mentioned about a multi-generational workforce, where Ms. Irani also in the previous panel, she talked about the Gen Z. They want to continually adapt with the trends and they want to upskill themselves continually. Mr. Purohit, I want to ask you, for leadership development, do you see any kind of resistance from the C-suite level executives where towards executive learning, they don't want to change the style of, working that they have been doing for so long, the way they handle their teams, the way they've used the technologies. Do you see any kind of resistance? Do you think that is a challenge?
I completely don't see that, to be honest with you, at least in the ecosystem where I am. आज की तारीख में everybody, you just raise one request of what you call that EOI. We are running this program, we are tying up with XYZ Institute, any of you are interested. I am telling you, within fraction of minutes, your inbox will, get full. That's the kind of people are very eager, they want to participate, they want to learn irrespective of age. Believe me, that's the kind of changes I am seeing because they have understood. Even the people with experience, they have understood and they have started accepting it. If I want to become better in digital and technology, मुझे ये जो बंदा अभी IIT और IIM से आया उससे सीखना पड़ेगा. They are better than me, and I do that every day. I have many of the people, those who work with me, they are from Excel, Jamshedpur and IIT and IIM, and I am very clear. I have surrendered myself. वो बोलते हैं ना कि आप surrender कर दो तो आपको सब कुछ मिल जाता है. तो मैं आती हूँ उनको surrender कर देता हूँ कि I am good in 1, 2, 3, but I am not good in this area, and I would look forward to learning from you. And the same thing I am seeing, the people, those who are, and I will give you classic example for those, some of you might be experiencing this. The people, those who come from operation, जो हमारे COO होते हैं, or for that matter, the people, those who come from commercial background, they are not good in finance that much. They want to learn finance. They have eagerness कि मुझे finance better सीखना. How can I read balance sheet better? How can I contribute to P&L better? जब तक मैं समझूंगा नहीं, मैं contribute कैसे करूंगा? And they come forward. कुछ लोग ज़्यादा करके लोग आ जाते हैं और बहुत कुछ लोग what you are saying is correct. They are hesitant. मैं कैसे आगे बढ़ के बोलूँ I am not good in that. I am already so senior. But the point is, if you don't tell, when you participate in any competitive program for your elevation, the coach, the panel, they will put something in the report that the person is excellent, बहुत बढ़िया बंदा है, सब कुछ है, इसको थोड़ा P&L और finance थोड़ा better सीखना पड़ेगा. Operation में he is excellent, but he is not good in marketing, commercial and people skill. You will get those kind of feedback. And those feedback becomes a kind of input for you when you run the program for executive education. But all in all, if you ask me, people are very excited. Everybody has understood that learning is something which can take them to the next level, and they want to be part of those learning things.
Great to know that. Mr. Sharma, you touched upon the aspect of technology transforming the management learning today. With generative AI, Meta coming into the space, so many new technologies are coming, even for people who are working remotely. What kind of technologies are you using at your organization? How do you think technology is transforming the learning process?
See, in today's working environment, or I say that organizational environment, learning is not something which is for a time being requirement. It's a continuous exercise and approach. So how it works out is basically that you need to run continuous assessments. You need to provide the learning opportunities. You need to provide the bit-sized learning to the workforce. Now, in my kind of organization, when we have presence over pan India and our team size is very limited, which is at our different geographic locations. These are warehouses, so a maximum 2 or 3 team members who are available there. So to provide the learning opportunities to them, it's very difficult if you can arrange a face-to-face kind of sessions for them. And it's not practically feasible as well. So how we come out, or what is the best way to deal in this kind of situation is that you provide an online assessment for them and provide them a host of library of learning experiences, exposures, wherein they can equip themselves. And then again, these technologies are equipped themselves to assess them again after the learning, say after a week, after 10 days, after a month or 3 months. And if they feel that, okay, there is a evaluation which says that, okay, learning, again, we need to do the relearning for them, it's again available. More importantly, when I look into from a leadership point of view for these learning experiences, these learning interventions are linked with their quarterly assessments. As rightly said by my co-panelist, saying that when my leadership team, when their evaluation happens, right, their evaluations might be happening once in a year on a paper pen kind of situation. But the actual evaluation keeps continue, right? So every month, every another quarter, when there is an operational review, when there is a business review, you tend to find out, okay, for this executive, these are the learning areas. For this executive, this is a new thing which this person should learn. Business is changing. As per my business, when my business is changing, I understand, okay, these are my team members wherein there is a learning gap, wherein we need to equip them with the right skill set. And in that, AI helps in. Because when you are continuously deploying the AI do the assessments, they find out the trends, they say that, okay, this is the new trend, this is the new challenge which we are facing out. We have rolled out certain new initiatives, and we get to know, okay, because of these challenges, these new initiatives are lagging behind. That's how we incorporate the learning programs for them. So in today's era, when AI is at the forefront, it is really helping out in understanding and shaping the learning. Now, you say that technology is bringing the platforms which can link your year-on-year performance trends with your training interventions and can assert saying how much this training has helped in improving the skill set or improving the growth perspectives for a specific individual. So these kind of interventions are something which really helps in identifying and then further customizing the learning piece for the teammates there.
Thank you. Speaking about customization, Ms. Seema, I want to ask you, today it is the world of inclusivity. Organization, it's their utmost priority to be inclusive. We have persons with disabilities working at, top levels of hierarchy. How do you customize? We also have people from, underrepresented. There might be language barriers as well. How do you customize different learning experience for executives, towards their different roles? How does that happen?
So definitely the first thing which we do for our client is understanding their need. And that is what Sir said, that co-curation of that program is the crux of the success of that program, as execution is very, very easy. Now, once we coming with a diverse background people, the major challenge happens at organization is when organizational goals are not aligned with the employees' individual choices. And probably I am good at the, operations, but I want to learn more about the delivery. Whereas my skill set is not compliant with the delivery requirement. And this is a very, very core problem of ITAS industry, where the population is very large. And if you look at the working of these organizations for years, it is just replica. And introducing AI and ML, again, it is data driven. Again, data is coming from the similar departments, similar situations. So data is also helping you to replicate something. So using data and ML intelligently is the key of designing a customized solution. The data, if you're replicating the same things for the new coming or diverse population, it might don't give you the customized and helpful solution. So taking the structure from AI and machine learning is a great help, but probably your team might need different and you want to give them different. How to bridge that gap is lying at the leadership. How they will make us a solution or a program for their team member where their both needs are getting resolved, their personal needs also and their professional needs also. For example, I am into maybe software designing, but I want to learn about customer experience, which might not be the requirement of my employer right now. Then how to build that pipeline, how to build that career pathline for my employee is a responsibility on the leaders or on the leadership. So once you're planning a customized learning, first, very important, we have to go back to basics. The basic assessment what sir had suggested is understanding their learning style. Some of us might be falling into visual, some of us might be falling into audio visual, or some of us might be falling into auditory, and most of us fall into kinesthetic. So identifying your team members based on their learning style and then curating a solution gives a long-lasting impact. And needless to say, these are retention strategy. A person who is getting satisfied, their intellectual needs are being fed at the workplace, their sense of belongingness with their workplace must be manifold than the people who are not feeling engaged. Whatever the name we give, definition and many terminology, but ultimately we stick to any organization because of a deep sense of regard and deep sense of belongingness with the organization. And providing learning opportunity is the key to retain your people with you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Purohit, do you want to add something to that? How to make the learning process more inclusive?
So just moving away a bit from the executive education part of it, I think, you have very nicely said about how do we bring diversity, equity and inclusion in the entire learning gamut. And I will tell you, this is one of the very strong pillars, at least in Vedanta. The way I said, 50 plus locations are focused in terms of promoting DEI is very much. And how we are gaining from this particular pillar, I will tell you. I hired 2,000 people from campus year on year. And I think I would be one of the largest recruiter in the manufacturing space when it comes to hiring people from IITs, IIMs and NITs and so on and so forth. I hire about hundreds of chartered accountants, hundreds of MBAs and engineers. So that's one part of it. And I will connect all the dots. Number two, as an organization, I have about 70 expats specialists working with me. When I say 70 expat and specialists, they come from 30 different nationalities. Can you believe 30 different nationalities working together in one geography, India, how much benefit they can give? And when I say that I have 2,000 people from campus, you won't believe they come from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. They come from the extreme northeast of the India to some of the minority colleges of the India. And then, of course, there are various other segments which make this particular. I have about 70 to 80 of transgenders who are working in shop floor, who are working in a kind of, some of the finest impactful role of the business. Transgenders, which we have never thought. Can you believe few years back, हम इस बारे में बात भी करते थे? And Savi, when you include all these 2,000 people from that kind of geographies, 30 nationalities working together, when you have this strata of people, it's सब मिलते हैं. I am telling you, the learning what it generates for the organization is so impactful and so tremendous. I think that's the benefit we as an organization take and enjoy. And that's the reason our focus on innovation. Each of the location, each of the businesses, we tell how can we bring all these people together, create a cross-functional team and ask them to work on some specific project which can give them, of course, a lot of learning, but that can have a huge impact on my business, on my P&L. And I am telling you, those who come from IITs and IIMs and those new colleges, plus this 30, 40 year of experience specialist expats working along with them, and when you have a full blessings of management, that becomes a kind of magic what happens in the organization. That creates learning. But do you have, आप वो platform देते हो क्या? Do you encourage that? Do you empower that in the organization? That's the crux. वो बहुत ज़रूरी है, because Savi, the main point is, it's very easier said than done. ये करने में बहुत मेहनत लगती है. मैंने जो बोला है बोलने में बहुत easy लगता है, but when you want to make that happen on ground, when you have such a huge geography and ecosystem and hundreds and thousands of people, how do you make it happen? उसके लिए open-mindedness, positivity, blessings of leadership, everybody coming together, that plays very, very big role. And that is for me is customization of program, rather than, directly get into the content part of it. पहले वो ready करे, फिर content भी ready हो जाएगा मेरे लिए. I know I am sounding bit different, but I think that's what gives the result at the end of the day.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that. Vedanta is doing great in this space. Mr. Sharma, my next question to you is about collaborations. What role does collaborations with academia or let's say industry associations play in leadership development?
See, as briefly touched by Mr. Purohit, the academia and industry plays a very significant role when it comes to the executive learning programs, or in fact, for the learning programs itself. How it happens is that academia has the resources for research. They have the expertise into the teaching domain, whereas the industry has the practical exposure. When academia comes across different industries and find out that, okay, there is a different challenge faced by this industry, which is slightly different from another industry. Now they need to come sit on the same table, understand the challenges, design the solutions, the offerings, and then deliver onto it. Now, it could be a possibility that one program is something which is addressing the challenge for different industries. However, there could be industry-specific challenges or issues or the requirement. Now, it is very important for industry and academia to come together and find out those piecemeal solutions. Now, you see, of late, industries are coming together and designing industry-specific or to be more focused organization-specific education programs. They include the academia in the internship kind of opportunities. They say, okay, the 6 months internship is directly with the organization. Now, what is this 6 months directly internship with the organization? This is complete industry exposure, and in terms of the industry is defining the curriculum for the academia, saying this is something which we need. That's how the talent is being developed. Regarding executive education, when we say and the collaboration between industry and academia, there are a number of ways how industry and academia collaborates. Whether it is sharing the case studies with the academia, whether giving live projects with the academia, or inviting their faculty members on a live challenge, saying these are the issues, live issues, let's bring together, let's sit on a table and find out what kind of possible solution could be. So it's very important aspect of a learning which is created by industry and academia.
Ms. Seema, do you have something to add to that?
Lokesh had already precisely said everything, but this collaboration is definitely very, very important. Learning from executive institutes definitely bring very diverse perspective because the professors, though they coming from an academia background, but trust me, I have been in IIM Lucknow and I have been into their consulting cell for 4 years. And we have done several projects, one with international, labor organization, another could be with passport office, third could be with, simple, some large organization. So learning and then designing programs for our clients really has been very, very very, very nurturing for our clients. Because at times, again, I might be repeating the same thing. In the same industry, best practices are being learned by us. We are sitting in these conferences and learning. I will give a very small example of my own organization. We support a very niche industry called trust and safety industry, which is for content moderation. So whatever the videos you watch in YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, or whatever the social media organization, there are moderators, many moderators who are moderating this content. This content might have adult content, child safety related content, terrorism, too much of violence, disturbing, rapes, and whatnot. These kind of content impact these youngsters a lot. These are plain graduate people coming from moderate economic background and demographies, coming maybe the remote areas of the borderline villages of India. In that case, design, nobody knew this business 10 years back. It was a very new niche kind of requirement for particular industry, and evolving with the learning and providing a solution for them. It took us so many years. 5 years we were just juggling with what should be there. Wellness intervention, okay, let's do the Zumba. They'll feel relaxed. But are we able to address their trauma which they are, getting through every day? Over the period of time with research, we could design something called Wellness and Resiliency Studio, which is now again a best practice. I feel very proud that we were the first one in the world who designed that, and now it is taken as globally, it is used as a best practices for content moderation. But again, is it sufficient? I really don't think so. Because we are seeing content moderation again as a replica of any business process outsourcing. Probably the mindset, their operational requirement is very different from any chat process or call center process or something. So that, bringing that understanding through research and academia helps us to have that research. That really gives us, it saves the time, cost and efforts. And when two specialties come together as a corporate and academia, it really do wonders. And again, I'm repeating myself, once you put your employees in this learning journey, they remain with you, and they respect you for doing this part of, creating that learning space for them. So it is really a win-win situation for industry and for student, and needless to say, academia also.
Amazing. Thank you, Ms. Seema. Mr. Purohit, coming back to you, I want to ask you, just creating these learning experiences is not enough. Evaluating the progress of these initiatives is very important. So what could be some metrics or let's say indicators that help you evaluate the progress of these initiatives?
I think again, this is a very classic question of ROI on whatever training you provide to people. And I think all L&D experts, they know much better than me. But I think the world has evolved. You do that ALP, what you call, action learning project, which I keep hearing from many of the consulting partners जिनके साथ मैं काम करता होता है. We will run ALP program, and that will help people to work on some business specific challenges and for them to come out with the results. And probably I think that's one of the finest thing which is working probably very well in the market and in the business. And yes, I keep seeing many of my cross-functional team leaders, they work on ALP along with the cross team, and they deliver on some of the very impactful things. So I believe that is something which is very good. Apart from that, I think my way of looking at it is a bit different. What I would be doing is, and I generally do in my organization, once the people they undergo the program, whatever high impactful L&D program or the executive education you send them, uske baad mein put them into elevator role. Just give them higher role. Aap unko, put them into 1 notch, 2 notch, 3 notch better role. And ask, make the deliverable and KRIs very, very concrete and ask them to work on that. That gives them motivation, that gives them kind of energy. And that's what as an organization you want to see. If I've invested in you and if I see you as a kind of potential person, that's the reason you have gone into that kind of high impactful program. Now, I want to put you into elevated and significantly higher role. मैं आपको वो opportunity देता हूँ. And believe me, in Vedanta, I have seen 90% of the time, जिसको भी आपने elevated role में डाला है, after they undergo this kind of program, they have come out with a flying colors, invariably. So that's the kind of trust you need to show rather than only making them to work on a project. No, you need to elevate them. Grade change करो, promotion दो उनको, उनकी salary बढ़ाओ, उनकी incentive बढ़ाओ. You will have to tell them that, if you do this, your variable pay will increase. I think that's the kind of EOI or, ROI you need to look for. That will give you different results altogether rather than only whole thing ki pehle pre-test, post-test, this kick-practice model, all are good. All are good. Nothing is wrong. But you will have to come out with a very innovative thing which end of the day impact your business. जो भी हम कर रहे हैं, we are doing it for 2 things. 1, ultimately your business should grow. That's the reason you are investing in your people. Number 2, most important, your people should grow. ये दोनों चीजें होनी है. There is nothing called third thing. अगर ये आप कर रहे हो, I think you should feel very happy about what you are doing. That's my brief on it.
Thank you. Mr. Sharma, do you want to add something to that?
So when the point comes on evaluation or understanding the ROI on the learnings or executive programs, the key point comes that when the organizations are sponsoring any of executive education, or when they are creating an atmosphere or creating an work environment wherein these interventions are encouraged, right? The prime reason for it is the organizations want to see themselves as a premium organizations or growth-oriented organizations. And organizations' growth lies on their employees' growth. So once you're giving them a chance for an executive learning, it's very eminent for, or it's very necessary for an organization to give them that challenge to prove the learning out of it. And immediately after getting the education, if you're giving them that exposure, if you're giving them those responsibility to prove themselves, as Mr. Purohit says, 95 or I'll say 99% of the team mates will come out with flying colors, because it's the motivation behind the executive education, the new tricks which they are learning, the new skill set which they are learning through the executive education. They want to deploy it. They want to test it. And if you're not giving them that opportunity, you will not be able to evaluate the true potential. So if you need to evaluate the exact or true potential of these programs, you need to give or support the candidates or employees with the opportunities. And it should not be that, okay, you completed the program now and after 6 months or after a year, you will be given that opportunities. No, then you are wasting the talent. You should be given instant, and that's how you will be able to develop and map their productivity. You have all the tools available with you. You know their performances. You're doing quarterly, annual evaluations of the performances. You know how the business is running, what kind of responsibilities they were managing in the past. And believe me, give you them a chance, and then they will prove that what kind of ROI they can produce on these interventions. Moreover, nowadays, as the learning is very bit-sized or micro-learning which is available, so its executive education is no longer which we say that, okay, 6 months or a year-long programs. Now it's very short-span programs as well. And measuring their ROI is instant. You enroll them for a program and then instantly you give them a project and you see the impact. That's how you will be able to evaluate the ROI onto those learning programs or executive learnings, which we say.
Thank you, sir. Before closing the discussion, we have a lot of students sitting here. Do you have any questions for the leadership? It's a great opportunity to ask questions. Anybody?
No.
All right, I'll take the closing remarks. We have students here, we have the upcoming talent as well. What would be your last piece of advice for freshers today, in terms of learning and upskilling?
मुझे एक दो पंक्तियां याद आ रही है. आई थिंक विकास दिव्यकृति, आई फॉलो हिम a lot, and in fact podcast could be a good medium. I think not only going to colleges or some program. Google is, the way our chairman Anil Agarwal says, laptop is a window to the world for you, for learning. वो उसमें जाओ तो बहुत learning है. And he says, क्यों डरे, जिंदगी में क्या होगा, कुछ नहीं होगा तो तजुर्बा होगा. So this is for student, कुछ ना कुछ तो करते रहो. Even if you miss something, you will end up learning. So that's the beauty of L&D. I think that's what, makes you better day by day. And I would encourage all of you, please invest in yourself, which is the most important. I think many of the executives I have seen over a period of time, things are changing, but बहुत कुछ देते हैं, अपने लिए कुछ नहीं करते हैं. So it's very important, end of the day, it's very important you self-architect yourself. Self-learning is very important. I am also part of the CLO Club, Chief Learning Officer of World Economic Forum, and we keep meeting all the global learning leaders, those who come from, across the world, from best of the companies. और वो उस मीटिंग में बता रहे थे, they were talking about the top 10 skills which will become very priority skills in 2027 and time to come. And out of that 10, one of the skill was self-awareness. Can you believe we never thought that self-awareness can become one of the so priority and important skills in time to come? So I think that's a kind of introspection point for all of us to think कि हमको कहाँ पे invest करना है.
Thank you, Mr. Purohit. Our time's up, but Ms. Seema, what would your last piece of advice would be for the student?
So for all new generation, I keep hearing from you people, हम सिर्फ 40 तक काम करेंगे और उसके बाद we'll take retirement. My love to you all. I know, then doing this, you will be hopping from one job to other to have, that salary hike and all. But don't get yourself retired after 40. The world needs more intelligent people. So staying in mainstream is biggest challenge now these days. इस दुनिया में सबसे बड़ा हीरो कॉमन मैन होता है. And similarly, people who are surviving in organizations are no lesser than heroes. So we idolized with, somebody has done this, somebody has done that. But trust me, as you grow, you will not get impressed with these smaller stories which are, very, very small part of their life. So stay in workforce, keep adding value. And last thing, whenever you feel stuck in your life and you think what decision I should take, always think whatever I am doing today, will it help my country to grow? And you will find your answers. There will be no, guidance from ethics or anything would be required. Keep your country ahead of you. Your decisions will be right for you too.
Thank you, Ms. Seema. Mr. Sharma, your closing remarks.
So as rightly put by Mr. Purohit, learning is something which is a lifelong journey, right? And one should not be dependent on the current organization or the opportunities provided by someone else. Your career is in your own hands, right? Today's the world is agile, right? Everything which you want to learn is available. It's just your wish or your motivation which should be there. If you're motivated to learn something new, if you are finding something challenging, please look up to your laptops or your digital screens. You'll find a solution, right? So that should be the motto. That should be the aim now, saying that, okay, your career is in your hands. Please look forward, find out bit-sized learnings, find out the programs which are available. And it's something which is available at without cost as well. It's just your motivation which needs to be available. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you to all the panelists. Thank you so much.